Okay, so I've got a very quick build for you guys today. This is like, I don't even know what to call it, but I would just say it's like a fairy kind of magical library room. That's literally how I'm going to use, that's how I'm going to describe it. A fairy magical library room that was inspired by Enchanted by Nature, but I haven't actually used the Enchanted by Nature pack because I haven't got it yet. It's kind of the reason why I wanted to try and create this room. The Enchanted by Nature pack has come out at the point of me making this build, and I wanted to get it, but at this point I cannot get it right now because if you guys don't know, I am now a mama, and yeah, that comes with its whole set of expenses as well. So that game is not on my purchase list right now at this point. Hopefully it will be in the future. So I wanted to create an Enchanted by Nature inspired build without using the actual pack, and I just wanted you to use the Sims 4 build objects that I had already to see if I could actually achieve this effect. And you'll see by the end of it, I think I've done a pretty good job with what I've had to work with. Was also inspired by my ability to put a chair under the stairs, and I literally created a whole build around that concept. That is the main purpose of this build as well. And I just wanted to create a kind of library behind it under the stairs just to look like the sim can read. By the way, a lot of people have asked me on TikTok if this is functional. It is functional. Your sim can read under the stairs in this chair. What I have found though is that you have to, because of where the library is placed or where the library books are placed, not library books, where the bookshelves are placed, you have to get a book out and have it in your inventory and then read it, and then your sim can sit in that chair under the stairs and read their book. So yeah, kind of the library, the bookshelf behind is kind of just for aesthetic purposes, but you can still get books if you've got books in your library or in your inventory. You can read a book in your inventory in that chair as well. But all in all, it's a functional chair under the stairs. Another thing that I wanted to do was pile up my books in a kind of scattered way. I did not want the books to be all uniform. I did not want them to look neat and assembled, because the kind of idea that I've got is that the type of sim that lives in here is a bookworm, is very much into research and maybe potions, and I wanted to make sure that they could have just make it look like the books are being read, that there's research and different kind of things going on. So what I had to do was pile each individual book on top of each other, and then use the trusty tool mod to rotate and lower and adjust where necessary, like with everything. I really do recommend, if you're not using the tool mod already, try and get into using the tool mod if you want to create more kind of detailed builds, because it really does help you align everything properly, align all the objects properly, and just add more to your build. But anyway, this isn't a promotion for it. I just wanted to suggest, like, it's a great mod. Twisted Mexi did a brilliant job with that mod, and I would recommend it to anyone that wants to improve their building. So the main point I wanted to get across in this kind of build is this kind of magical vibe and theme with all the potions, and this build is very clutter focused. It is very clutter focused. 100% transparency, I could have put more clutter in this build, but I think this build took at least 3 hours to do, and I was getting very tired, so I could only have the amount of clutter as much as I could do in a certain amount of time, basically. So I could only put in a certain amount of clutter that I was able to in a certain amount of time. If I had more time to do this build, I totally would have added more clutter, but I think I've added enough in there to achieve the aesthetic and illusion that I was trying to get across in the first place. Another thing that I found as well was a little ladder that I wanted to be put next to the shelves of where the other knickknacks are, simply because I just wanted that kind of, there wasn't actually a ladder I could use. I was looking for a normal ladder in the normal build objects, but I couldn't find a ladder to put up against the wall. So thankfully I went onto the gallery and I was able to find a ladder which I think was taken from maybe one of the debug objects by a creator, and I was able to put that ladder up against the wall. There was a lot of adjustments I had to do to make sure it met the floor that the ladder actually met the floor and it wasn't just hovering. But it was a really good touch, and I would recommend checking out the gallery as well for different objects if you can't find the exact object in the debug menu or the live edit menus or any of the other build objects. The ladder gave a really nice touch, and I was really happy with how that looked up against the wall with the objects anyway, so I stuck with that. There was a lot of adjustment that I had to do as well in this build, because some of these objects weren't really made to be positioned on top of other objects, so once again I had to use the tool mod to lower and adjust. But one thing that I would suggest for anyone doing or trying to do more complex builds is take your time with it and be patient with it. I know it can take a long while to get what you're trying to achieve when it's more complex builds, but it is so worth it in the end. It really is, if you take your time and do that. And that's why I had to do this. This is all sped up obviously, so it looks a bit quicker, but trust me, adding all these little like details and little objects, oh, it takes a while. I had to take breaks on and off when trying to add these details, and there was a lot of trial and error, because there were some things that just didn't fit into the aesthetic of the room either. There were some things that didn't fit in, and I had to keep deleting and re-adding, and sometimes I even went to one thing, deleted it, and realised, oh well, that's the best option, going back to the same object. It's just, as I said, it's a lot of that trial and error, but it is worth it in the end. Another thing that I wanted was a little stove. It's not stove top, but I wanted the fireplace in front of the chairs to make it feel more cozy. But the fireplace was too small at first, so I enlarged it just so it could look the part, and thankfully it blended in quite well. It wasn't too obvious that the fireplace was enlarged, but it's like the most kind of magical mystical fantasy kind of stove. It's basically the most fantasy themed fireplace that I could find with the packs that I have currently. I don't know if the Enchanted pack has any of this other kind of fireplace stuff. I should probably check online, to be honest, and watch some videos. But I know with this build, as I said, I didn't have Enchanted, so I just thought, let me use what I got. Another thing that I wanted to achieve as well was, I don't know why, I just had a vision of putting a kitchen area on top of the stairs. Because there was such a large space in the corner of the stairs, I thought this would be a great place to put like an oven and kitchen area. Now I'm going to just let you know now, this kitchen area is literally for visual purposes. It's not functional in terms of your Sims cooking on it, but it just looks really nice on the stairs, and I couldn't not do it. I couldn't not do it, guys. I just couldn't. I had to have it on the stairs, even if it wasn't 100% functional. It just made it feel more homely, and that it's like a kind of, I don't know, yeah, more kind of like similar to like a hobbit hole. It's kind of underground and more homely, and just to have all these little objects and details placed directly in the home in different areas to make it feel tighter made it more cozy in my head. So I just wanted to add that kind of stuff to the staircase, even if it wasn't going to be used. The good thing is that it's fully functional in terms of, as in the stairs are fully functional, because even with the kitchen object, I tested it, your sim can come up and down the stairs as well, so that's fine even with the kitchen objects there. So it's not a problem at all. And once again, I've been going back into the kitchen with clutter objects. I can't not do a kitchen anymore without clutter. It just doesn't feel like a kitchen without clutter. And then the last things I wanted to do was just make sure there were like little lights on the stairs to make it feel a bit more magical, and just add another element of detail to the overall build. And also another thing which I really like is adding the bushes on the wall. That was spur of the moment. I wasn't actually thinking of doing it, but once I added all the bushes to the area under the stairs on that wall, I thought, let me just put the whole set of bushes and that around the top as well. It kind of still added to that kind of nature, Enchanted by Nature kind of theme. Compared to my other builds, it's actually quite a quick build. To be quite honest with you, it's quite a quick build, because a lot of my other builds take a good 4 to 5 hours depending, and I have to keep coming back to it. so overall it was a quick build and it came out really well. Let me know what you think below. I do plan to get the Enchanted by Nature pack very soon. It was just not for this build. It was just not for now. But when I do get that, I think I might try this again and I might make it a bigger scale, like make a whole house with this kind of detail and theme as well. But let me know what you think in the comments below of this build, and let me know, as always, what other builds do you think I should try and do? What other builds do you think I should try and make, or challenge myself to make at least? I'm gonna catch you in the next video, guys. I'll speak to you in a bit.